Hey guys, welcome to our first video for this course on web design and web development. Today we're going to be getting our text editor set up and we're going to be actually creating our first HTML file. If you'll notice, I have two windows open on the screen. On the left hand side I have Firefox, and on the right hand side I have our text editor that we'll be using called Atom. You can use different pieces of software if you want to, but my recommendation are these two for a couple of different reasons. First off, Atom is incredibly simple and incredibly powerful right from the beginning. If there are other things that you want to do with it, which we'll see in just a little bit, you can install different packages and extensions that make it a little bit more your own that you can do different things with. Firefox is great for a number of reasons, but especially for us working in front-end development, it's got some great tools that make it easier to see kind of where our mistakes are and where we can go ahead and make some improvements. To begin with today, we're going to start by really talking about the organization and the structure of a project. And if you look at Atom, we can kind of start there with the layout of the screen itself. The window has two big pieces. On the left-hand side, we have this dark gray area, and on the right-hand side, we have this light gray area. This left-hand side is going to be where we have all of our different folders and files. So this is kind of our browser that we have within Atom itself, or this side pane. Over here we have the actual editor, so any files that we're working on will have their own tab at the top. We can have them kind of hidden, just like browser tabs inside of Firefox or Chrome or Edge, or we can have them displayed side by side. So if we're making a couple of edits to a few files that are dependent upon each other, we can have them both easily visible in that way. You'll also notice that I have these windows set up side by side. You don't have to do that if you don't have a lot of real estate in front of you. I'm just doing this so that I can write code on one side and have it rendered on the other, and we can see the similarities back and forth. To begin with, let's go ahead and say add folders and get started by organizing our project. The way that we organize things is really important, not only for us in knowing where files are, but also eventually for when we're putting things onto servers. They're very deliberate about the path that certain files are saved to. And what we end up doing is referencing different pages in our site. And if we don't have them organized and structured in a way that makes sense to both us and servers, it's not going to work. So to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and say new folder just for this course itself. And I'm going to call it web design. And then inside of that folder, we can think of each of the folders that we put in here as different projects or different units that we're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and say web basics, since that's really what we're covering in this first module that we have videos for. And I'm going to go ahead and say open. Now you notice a couple of things have changed. First off, web basics appears up here with a folder, and then we have this little caret where we can expand and close it. Inside this blank space, I can do things like right click, and I can say new file. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file called index.html. This is going to be the file that a server would look for anytime a URL loads. So if I'm going to Amazon.com or Google.com, if I don't have anything after that .com and then that slash that comes at the end, it's going to look for a page, or the server is going to look for a page, a file called index.html. So this is our landing page, or the base of our entire site. And from here, we'll create other files that go off of this one. Now, Atom is really great in that it helps us by taking care of a lot of the boilerplate code or things that we would have to write over and over again. So I can actually start typing HTML, and you'll see this little green arrow with this cursor appear. If I hit enter, it's going to go ahead and give me the basic HTML that I need in order for this to be rendered by my browser. I'm going to come down to where it says title, and I'm just going to say hello world. And then inside of the body, I'm going to use what's called a paragraph tag. And I can do the same thing as my HTML that I started typing a second ago. I can just hit P for paragraph tag and hit enter. And then I'm just going to say, hi there. Now, you'll notice there's this blue dot at the top of this tab. That means that this file has not been saved yet. So I'm going to say save. And then I'm going to actually right click here, and I'm going to say reveal in Finder. If you're on a Windows device, it probably says something like show in Explorer. And now I have this file that I can just drag into my browser right here, and hey, it's going to go ahead and open that up for me. So if I look here, my tab says hello world with an exclamation point, just like it says right here. And then I have this text in here that says hi there, just like it does right here. So that's our first file created inside of this first project with some real HTML, and it's being rendered to the browser. I can come in and change things. I can say, let's say hi you, and then I'll give this a refresh. And now we see it appearing. Let's say, hi, I don't know, Smitty. If I come back over here and hit refresh, hey, it didn't change. But that's because I still have this dot up here. I haven't saved this file. So let's give it a save and then come back and give this a refresh. And hey, now we've got Smitty there. This is just the basics of getting things started inside of our project. But for now, we're going to go ahead and call it quits on this first video. You can go in and play around with the HTML that you have in front of you. Start adding in a few different tags if you want to, which we'll talk more about in the next video. Or just go ahead and go to the next video. See ya.